Here we go. Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I'm a bit of a rat woman today, as I have been on the outside. I was just sitting here, just before I went live, and I was thinking to myself, it's been a while since I have been that active. Now, I go for these nice long walks. Like I can go off and for hours I can just walk, and that's really good exercise. But there's something about the rush, there's something about the speed, there's something about the agenda and the outcome that you're trying to achieve that makes busy a little bit different. I love that busyness. Me and my sister were having a big garage sale, like so big. We had to put multifamily in the ad because it's so. I have no idea where I hid this stuff because I practically took an entire household out to my niece's place. And so, but today was the day after we finally, after two truck trips just on my side, not to mention all the small little car loads that we took, that we had to go today and we had to set it all up and we had to price it. I knew, right? It was going to be hard. And I knew my sister was going to be cranky. So I stayed as light as I could because there was nothing we could do. We had to get it done, right? So we just hacked away at it the best we could, and the little bit of that surface, it was all good, and the place looked amazing when we left. All set up. All we have to do is open the garage door and pull out the tables and right, set everything up on the boards, and we are ready to go. Inside, everything is priced. I'm just doing up another basket. As much as I can get out of my house is what I want to get done. And it makes me feel really good. And in the end, I'm not going to feel it. I'm not going to mess it because what I'm keeping, I really truly do love. And I intend, I've already lessened a few things off this wall. I don't know if anybody will notice what's missing, but I've removed some things already from this wall. Tomorrow, a little bit more will be removed and tubbed up and taken over. Not till Saturday morning. We'll be over at her house by 8:30 in the morning because she's going to want to start the yard sale by 9 a.m. and we're going to go all day. We are aiming we're aiming for 1,000. My sister, we kind of scoped the place out. We think we can comfortably hit 1,000, which is pretty good for a yard sale, right? But there's an opportunity to do much better than that. It just all depends on the haggling and the wheeling and the dealing and the right, the big old let's make a deal, right? So we're going to do our best to do that because that is my campsites. I need my campsites and I need a new desktop for computer. This is what I'm doing. I'm a reseller. Everything that I do for my life and putting a roof over my head and what I want to get done, it's going to come in this moment. It's going to come from the reselling. And I've been at this for a very long time. Just now before my live, I said I was sitting here, but what I was doing is I was deleting all my ads, all those things that I had listed, and I it's all stuff that I took up to my niece's place, so it can all be sold, and now I can just start fresh. I think I have 5 or 6 high ticket items that I'm keeping on my everything's going at the yard sale. We're starting fresh. My sister does usually one of these sales twice a year because she is a reseller, but she's an eBay reseller, right? And I've just partnered with her. But I do it here at Marketplace because I'm able just to run downstairs and do the old switcheroo with the item and the cash, and it's fun. It really is. I really do appreciate my own good eye. Recently I just sold a picture that I got for, it was a print, it was an abstract print, and I picked it up for $7. I got a little staff discount, like for $4.80. The second day, well, the first day I listed it, I had so many people who wanted to see it, but they just kind of like want to leave it. Oh, can you hold it till payday kind of thing? And it's always just first come, first serve. I got $200 for that picture. I was so proud of myself. I did really good on a few things. I put a bunch of patches on a pair of coveralls and all kinds of neat, some buttons and stuff. It was so cute. But I had gained a little weight and it was a heavy jean. I wanted something light and airy for something for summer, working in the garden or walking on the beach or something, not sold them, and I sold them for $100. I sold them for $100. I was so proud of myself. So I'm doing another pair for my niece because they're going to Disneyland, and so I'm gonna put all my Disneyland patches all over her coveralls, and she could wear them. She could wear them to Disneyland with a cute top or something. So I'm starting that. She just wants to measure to make sure the coveralls will fit her, and then I'm going to start working on my. I told her I see that if she's going in September, right? I can sit here and I can take in lessons, right? Keep you guys updated. I'm on a cute pair of coveralls. I'll do a real cute job, and right, the Disney characters might recognize her. It would be unique too, right? I mean, she's got a couple of princess dresses too, right? But to have a Disney World coverall, that's pretty cute. So yeah, I'll start cracking on that. But when I came home today, I was exhausted. But like I said, because it's been a long time since I've been working in that speed, in that final goal of getting something done, and we kicked it out of the park. It was so awesome. It went so well. At least 75% easier than what I thought it was going to be today. I really did think it was going to be really hard work, and I didn't even think we were going to get it done, but we managed to get it done. So right, and a pat on my back and a pat on my sister Alice's back, and we decided just to go 50-50 on that. It works best when we're handling the money, and she can handle all the money, and we'll just divvy it up on the end. And I won't get much of that because she holds on to the holiday funds, the September holiday funds, and that's what a big part of that garage sale money is going towards, is that trip. So yeah. But you know what? If I walk out of there with $100, I'm happy, right? But we might do a little bit better. But you guys will be kept up to date with that. Yeah, but I came home today and I was done. And I knew I had my live tonight, and I was looking forward to coming into my life only because of that energy, right? Because I had picked up that momentum, and this is what happens to me as I get into this little bit of a speed, and it's not a spinny speed. It's just things are moving, right? My brain is moving, my ideas are moving, my checklist of what I had just done is moving, and then a checklist for things I've still got to get done if there's still things in that box that needs to be done. And so, yeah, a little bit maybe, but I'm working on it. So I came home today totally bagged. All I wanted to do was sit in my office chair, flake out, have a cup of tea, let's have a sip. And hello, everybody. I hope you're having an amazing day. Hope it's off to a good start. or if it's ending on a good note, right? Seems to me things are a little bit quiet in the world today. And I think it's why, I'm able to get up to that mode and still find myself having to break a little bit, right? Even now, and I've been home for a couple of hours, but in those, well, I've been home for probably since 7, so a few hours. I've been home for a few hours, but when I came home, I got right into filling up more bins, all excited about this yard sale and getting rid of, because my place still looks full, you guys. It still looks, I had a lot of stuff. I was very creative in how I put it away. But I hope once I have a good clean, I haven't even had that chance to give it a really once over good clean because I've been so busy in other things, right? And busy in important things, not things that, right, just to stay occupied. Oh, that tea feels good. That slows me down. Just having a sip of coffee will slow me down. Yeah, that was fun today. And then all weekend long we'll be at it. I don't normally do these yard sales with her because I've always been working. This year I'm not working, and so far so good. I've been away from that job and I have managed to put a roof over my head now for 4 months. I'm pretty impressed with myself. Right? I'm not living like a queen, but I'm enjoying myself. I'm shining. I'm practicing my craft. I'm taking in my lessons. I'm paying consistency into my live show. I'd have to say that's pretty good. So, I'm just gonna toot my own toot my own horn there, right? Sometimes we don't appreciate the little things, how they conglomerate a little bit and turn into something pretty big, right? And this trip, this vacation that I'm taking in September, that's going to cost me still a couple $1,000. Where's that couple $1,000 coming from? I don't know, but it's going to happen and it's happening, right? It's where the money is from this garage sale. It's going to pay for my campsites. So I'm trying to get those down packed. I thought I had them down packed. I had the date set and everything. And then I decided to do a little bit of a switcheroo. I think I've decided. Yeah, I'm 100%. Once I make that snap, I make that snap. I'm not going to dance around it. What I'm going to do is get in there and find a new way to set it up. I'll still be on the road. I'll still be in the campsites. But last year, you guys, when I went on that trip, you guys know when I came home, I did 12 provincial parks in 13 days. It was crazy. It was fun. It was amazing. There was a lot of problem solving in that. It was a huge venture, dazzle and amaze, beautiful landscapes, beautiful time inside of the lake, lots of time for myself because I go on these trips every year and I've been going on these trips by myself 20 years now. At least 20 years I've been going on these trips by myself. I would much rather go by myself and really enjoy my experience rather than go and entertain somebody else. And you might think that's rude to say, because when I say it, it seems rude because lots of times when I'm planning these trips, people are inviting themselves, right, to come with me constant. And I shut them down, right? Because this is not a trip that I do for anybody except for myself. It's that 100%. As close as I get to people is when I go through a drive-through for a cup of coffee on the road, right? Or the park rangers and stuff. I bump into people all the time. They manage to come across my path, but it's an experience that I create, right? And I create it from the bottom up, and that means I'm paying for everything. It would be much cheaper if I took somebody with me, but I don't want to do this because this is my gift to me, right? And I make that gift as big as I possibly can at the means that I'm able to put it together. And I think I'm going to be able to manage okay. After I get those campsites done, every time I go to the grocery store, I have to pick up one thing, right, that I will need for my trip, right? So I make sure that when I leave, the only thing I need is my gas. And because I'm a reseller, right, we will have accumulated, I would assume, enough for the gas and we are good to go. When I come back, it's going to be a different mode, I expect. Where and when and how, right? The direction that it's going to go in and when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. I don't know, but I'm just going to kind of ride those waves, adapt and conquer, and be optimistic that, like how my friend Brian would say, that I don't have to go back and work for the man. I don't mind working for others, but it always seems that I get myself into these jobs and they seem like the most amazing thing, and they are for the most part. But then there's again that shuffle of interactions and stuff, and you never know. We don't all rub each other well, and that's a truth, right? So I would much rather kind of ease out of a job rather than stick around in that. But I think I'm at that age right now where I've just kind of been disillusioned that the people who most definitely deserve those insurances, because it's not their fault that they find themselves in a situation where they have to work with what's rubbing up against the grain. And sure, they can follow the rules, but there's always that underneath the skin stuff that people don't even recognize, except for the ones where it's being targeted at. And that's the truth. And for that reason, I think I would love to see if I can put a roof over my head in reselling, right? I might not in the moment get rich at it, but in the experience of what comes across my path, things will come across my path, opportunities, great scores, right? And fun, because I do love thrifting. I do love partnering up and spending time with my sister Alice. She's really the only one of my sisters that I truly relate to in any way. Not to say she's perfect or I'm perfect or any of my other sisters are perfect, but it's just in those seasons in our life that we find a little bit of a different taste. Our taste buds are asking for something a little bit different. And because growing up, there was a 6 year age difference, I think 6 year age difference between me and Allison. Now that we're more mature, doesn't seem like there's much of a difference at all, right? And we actually have some common interests, which um, make it fun, make it interesting, and it's a good system. She's a good support system for me. I'm a good support system for her, and it's not a codependent kind of way. It's just the fact that we kind of have the same kind of interests. We enjoy going off. Like even when we go to the stores, I'm going in one direction, she's going in another. Somewheres we meet in the middle, right? Or I come and find her with my little table of scores, and then she'll go through them and she'll go, no, 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 no. Yeah. Right. And that's the way to do it, right? Because we're not going for the small profits. We want to at least get three times value or four times value, not value of the item, but the value that we put into the item. So if we put $7 into something, I want to be able to sell it for $28 at the very least, right? But most of the time they're great scores, right? Like, oh my goodness, some little 50-cent toys, and they're up right now for over $100. And we find those scores all the time. It's lots of fun. And I get to practice my craft, right? I still get to explore my inside, right? But now we got through today. We were going so fast. I was going to film it, but it was all nice and tidy at the end. When we go in, I will make right a little video so you guys can see how well we did. Right, and hopefully it's nice and sunny. Hopefully it's nice and sunny. Okay, you guys, I am all bagged out tonight. I apologize for that. It's not my intent, but it's a pleasant, whoops, sorry. It's a pleasant exhaustion. And I'm very pleased that I was able to pick up that speed. I kind of feel it, right? But that's what happens with me sometimes, when you start getting on that roll. It's like that snowball going down the hill and just gets faster and faster and faster. And when you're going down the hill and the snowball is going faster and faster, snowballs don't go backwards, right? So it's kind of digging our legs into the snow and just slowing ourselves down until we kind of come to a stop at the end of a cliff or something, right? Okay, you guys, all bagged out. Let's grab a card. Just a couple of minutes. First perspective that comes to my mind, and we'll just go into it for a couple of minutes. Hopefully, it's pertinent to you. If not pertinent to you, maybe it's pertinent to me. Maybe it's pertinent to all of us. Isn't this funny? I watched an entire an entire video. Now I'd like to give credit where credit was due, but they had a really good point about presence. Now, what did I write here about? We got the word presence, by the way. Presence. Presence is having the determination and courage to step forward to be seen and to be heard, right? That presence is that, right? We are doing this. We have no choice. And you know what? We can go in there and flubber ourselves over it, or we can practice and get it right word for word, or we can practice and just get the points correct so that we can go in and tell the stories in that without people recognizing that nervousness, that anxiety, because there's not a lot of people, unless you're my sister Alice, who would jump on a stage and put on a show. Or, oh, my sister's terrible. Anybody's taking a picture, she's right in there, right? And that's presence, and that's something to be proud of, to be able to do that, because it takes confidence to do that. And people, especially in this day and age, I would have to say, there's a lot of people that get the sensitivities that are very hyper vigilant in their emotions. There's very few people in this world right now that I don't believe that, right? Very few of us have been touched with trauma in some way, and in overcoming that, right? That's what we all search for in trying to stumble out of our own scaredy cats, right? That we're able to show up. And to be showing up, you just have to believe in yourself and believe what you want to bring to the table. Because if you believe that, you're going to bring it to the table, whether or not you are nervous or not. But because you know it, right? Because you wouldn't bring it to the table otherwise. That's the presence, right? That you're doing it anyway. It has to be done. What did I write here? Presence is having the determination and courage to step forward, to be seen, and to be heard, right? We don't always want to be seen and be heard. It's not what I wanted when I was a kid or a teenager or a young adult. I just wanted to be the wallflower. I didn't even want to be the wallflower. I wanted to be the wallpaper. I didn't even want to be the wallpaper. I wanted to be the glue behind the wallpaper. Now there's a better analogy for me because I really did feel like I was the glue of things, even if I wasn't participating, right? I was there and it was my energy and in the few conversations and in my attention to those that meant to catch my attention, right? And that's a truth too. But I really loved this, and it was a topic, and I wish I can't even remember how it went off, who was giving it, and sometimes it does blend in there. I'm about the message. I'm about the powerful word, and I will sit in and quite often sounds like it's raining. Uh, quite often I will sit in and just pay attention to people and how they present themselves in the company of others, and whether that company is just you and one person, you and two people, you a whole stadium, right? And that presence is being able to not even hold that attention. You get that attention sometimes just by walking into the room, right? Just by walking into the room, you just light the place right up. And that's what presence is. That's when everybody goes, "Ooh, what's that? Who's that?" Right? Presence. You know, I'm pretty comfortable in the camera and I understand, I try to make sure that I sometimes have a pointless, most often not, right? I come in here and flow and that's what it is, right? But lots of times, I will have a little bit of pointless, but it's important for me to be casual. It's important for me because of the topics we talk about, that not to make it stressful, full of anxiety, right? It's just something that might help. And unfortunately, when I come in this late, it's something sometimes that you munch on when you go to bed. It's not my intent to give you something to munch on when you go to bed. I am just procrastinating in getting in here each night. I was sitting here all bagged and barely doing anything. I could barely get up and make myself a cup of tea. I was so tired, but I was pleasantly tired in that, right? But like I said, lots of times, I feel because I've been doing this for a while that I am comfortable. I feel that I have a sense of presence. But even though somebody would say, well, that's kind of like it's casual, right? It's layman. It's a way for people to truly understand because I suspect, right? Like me, if you've had any experiences that would kind of be not don't have to be similar, but affect us sometimes in the same way that in the outcomes we have some of those same issues that we're able to make a little bit of movement for ourselves and for other people, right? This need to be seen and this need to be heard. I didn't need to be seen. I didn't need to be heard. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. But as I move into the lessons, I'm going, how did I ever get that idea? Right? Right? I love having a say. I love having my channel where I can come in and have those conversations. And hello, Eugene. I love coming in here and having these comfortable conversations. And yes, sometimes the conversations are important conversations, but it's not my intent to do that, to give you something to munch on before you go to bed. But if you happen to munch on it, maybe that's a good thing, right? Because that gives you some kind of insight where you can be with yourself, right? Be actually laying in your bed, sleeping with the TV off and the radio and the computer and the phone and all that is off. And if you are munching on something, maybe you were meant to munch on it, right? Presence is that person that no matter how they're feeling, right? That when it's time to show up, it's time to show up. And any of those insecurities are, right, just put on a shelf, not forever, right? We don't want to lose our sensitivities that way, but, right, they don't want to show up anyway. So sit on a shelf for a little while, right? And then that part of us that does truly want to be seen and want to be heard, let that part come in, right? You guys have the same lessons, right? Same message. I find that for myself too, very rarely, right? There, maybe some things are hard to digest, but it's only undigestible because it's unknown, right? And it's only unknown until it's known. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. We'll see you.